That will do it as the Spokane Chiefs will come out of the Western Conference as they sweep the Portland Winterhawks 4-0 as they come from behind 6-4 win in Game 4 tonight. And for the first time since 2008, your Chiefs are headed to the Western Hockey League Finals where they will take on the Medicine Hat Tigers. Preston fires a puck and scores! Save it home! With extra, the one-timer with the quick grip. And through, Hutzel, back of the house. Get the hats, folks. AC is third of the night. Shoots and scores! Oh, what a play by Berkeley, Cat. Now there's Preston with a strike.
Boys,
What happened?
boys. For
You
the
got your-
first time in 17 freaking years. the
Did you have
Chiefs-
your broom out?
I don't even know if I own a broom. For the first time, 17 years, the Chiefs are Western Conference champions.
Hold on, I'm not going to let you brush past this. You said you don't own a broom?
Well, I think there's one back there somewhere.
Okay,
I don't know.
you have two cats. I would hope you have a fucking broom.
Well, I have a Dyson vacuum.
Cats get litter
so
everywhere.
I have a Dyson vacuum, so I just use
Oh.
that shit.
And probably a Swiffer mop too.
I have
Okay.
a Swiffer as well.
Okay.
Yeah. I have a
Okay.
wet jet. Yeah.
Anyway, we can move past this. I wasn't going to let that
I
one
do have a
stand.
broom. I do have a broom.
Oh,
There
All
you
right.
go.
I do.
cool. Well,
do. I do know where it is. Okay. Anyway.
did you have it out for the event that happened last night?
No, but I'm kind of pissed that I didn't. I wish
Hey.
I would have now.
Hey, Portland, what happened?
What happened?
What happened to Winterhawks in 5? That's all I was seeing when the series started.
Maybe they meant to convey that they were going to be done in 5. Not that they were going to
Nonetheless,
win, not that they were going to be winning 5. Some they were off a little bit on that one.
So I was going to say
Interesting.
they were wrong in that aspect as well.
Interesting.
Let's start off
Yeah.
with a little bit of fire here. I hate you, Portland Winterhawks, and I'm so happy you bastards are done.
And it couldn't happen in a nicer way other than being swept.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They
Oh,
were
and
worn
and
out.
the Butzeroni, or however you say his name, getting kicked out of the game, 5 in a game. Oh,
Mhm.
beautiful.
Thankfully, Shea
Beautiful.
was not hurt.
Oh,
Beautiful Italian bastard, you.
Yes. Yes.
Let's go, boys. It happened. We did it.
It
We got
did.
one more big giant hill to climb in the next round.
Yes.
yeah.
The real test. And you know, I've said it all playoff long. They're the only team that's left in the league that I'm scared of.
You know a stat that I read today? Since January 4th, they are 38-4-1-1.
Is that good?
It's not
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah, that's pretty dang good.
Yeah, that's intimidating to say the least.
That's scary.
Why don't you go ahead and do you have that tweet pulled up?
No, I don't. It's on my iPad, but I'm using my iPad right now.
I would
Actually,
say there was another tweet or there was another comment under that talking about the Chiefs record in the last half of the season as well, which
I
is
didn't
also
see that.
pretty good.
yeah, I figured it was
Um,
probably comparable.
But nonetheless, boys, got it done in 4. I didn't expect a sweep, but I think the Chiefs just kind of ended up overpowering Portland with their scoring touch in the end, and things came out the way that everybody in Spokane wanted it to.
Yes, they did. We didn't get as much value for our tickets in this round, but I'm okay with that.
Yeah, like
Yeah, I didn't even think about that since the tickets are one price no matter how many games.
Yeah.
So shout out to the Chiefs front office. They got us.
Yes, they did.
They got us there.
It
But
took them
you know
3
what?
series to do it, though.
Yeah, I'll take it though. 'Cause
Yeah, me too.
I'm all for not fucking around with game 6 and 7 because when we talked about this series preview, I thought this series was going to go 7 for sure. never in a million years did I see a sweep coming.
No.
So here we are. It is May 2nd, year of our Lord 2025, and we have a 7-day break until game one of the championship series.
It's funny you say that because I saw things last night after the game was over. It said that first game was Friday, and me not thinking thought, shit, they only get a day and a half of rest. They're going to play in 2 days, not realizing it was next Friday until I looked a little closer this morning.
Well, I mean, that's what happens when both the conference championships are done in 4 games.
Yeah, it's true.
First time in WHL history.
Pretty amazing.
Yep.
And when you think about it, it's a little bit surprising that hasn't happened before.
It is.
But yeah, I mean, Medicine Hat took care of Lethbridge. Lethbridge made it pretty interesting in game 3. I mean, they came out hot early. Medicine Hat just kept battling back every time Lethbridge would take the lead, and then they just, they're just too much for Lethbridge to handle. Medicine Hat hasn't lost a game in the playoffs since I think game 2 or 3 of round 1.
3.
Yeah.
3.
Oh, because of game 3. Yeah.
Yeah.
So obviously they're going to be coming out hard. They're going to be a huge challenge for the Chiefs defensively.
Yeah, both teams are playing hot right now. That's why they were able to sweep.
Yeah.
Both teams are playing very, very well. We're playing equally as well offensively. Like you said, the difference is going to be defense and goaltending.
Mm-hmm, for sure.
Yeah, and as far as the Lethbridge series goes, I watched all 4 games. Admittedly, I hadn't really watched much Medicine Hat hockey this year. I knew they were awesome, and I knew they were just running roughshod on basically the entire Eastern Conference. But, games 1 and 2 weren't competitive, but 3 and 4, Lethbridge, it seemed like no matter what they did, Medicine Hat had an answer. I think Lethbridge in game 3 had 2 separate 3-goal leads. They had at least a 3-goal lead once.
Yeah.
And it didn't matter. It similarly to how it feels like the Chiefs at times can score at will. It feels that way with Medicine Hat, watching them play Lethbridge. And I think it was a little bit of that in their other, it had to have been. They swept who'd they play in the second round? That doesn't matter. They swept them and they won their first series in 5 games. So but I do feel like similarly to us, where our defense is a bit of a liability, I kind of saw that with them too. I don't know if that's an aberration, but there was periods of time in games 3 and 4 where it did feel like Lethbridge could do whatever they wanted. It just didn't matter. It just didn't matter.
Yeah.
And so if this is going to be the kind of series where just defense goes out the window, we just played a series like that. And it just has to be a bunch of 7-6 games.
So be it.
For me, flip a coin in that case, because I think that, like you're saying, both teams are very similar.
Yeah, and I've been seeing some rumors perpetuated by Medicine Hat, fans that they're sucking down some hopium. I don't know why they need to suck down hopium because they're already a wagon, but they've been throwing around this idea that Adam Basha, I think that's his name,
Andrew Basha,
and Caden Lindstrom might come back. Which that's an interesting wrinkle if that happens.
I don't see that happening. Personally, I don't. But yeah, especially with Lindstrom, I honestly have no idea what's going on with Basha. But I know Lindstrom, he's battled injuries the last 2 years. He got drafted 4th overall by Columbus. He had, I think he had at least one surgery during the regular season this year that, kept him out pretty much. Actually, he didn't play a game all year for them. He was over in Columbus most of the year with like medical teams and everything too. So I know he's with Medicine Hat right now, but I don't know. I don't know if Columbus would necessarily want him to be jumping into the WHL Championship Series either.
I feel that way too. They've invested way too much draft stock into a guy that hasn't so far given them any returns. As for Basha, I'm not familiar with his game, but apparently he's pretty good because a lot of Medicine Hat fans are pining over having him back. So if that's the case, then so be it. I mean, they've already got a lot of scorers, and so do we. We went from being a one-line team to a four-line team,
Yeah.
so that's great. Uh, so if it's going to be strength versus strength offensively, um, I mean, I I don't really know. Like it feels like this series, like Chad said, might just be coin flip games, and it's
I,
just going to be a matter of who can outscore the other one on any given night. And there's probably going to be an overtime or two in there where it's going to be last goal wins.
yeah.
And we'll
Oh,
just have to see how that goes.
I agree. Looking at Medicine Hat's top scores, their top line, it's been pretty much right at the same pace as our top line has been the second half of the year.
Yeah.
Obviously, they have Gavin McKenna, I watched him play once in person this year when Medicine Hat came to Spokane in the regular season. And you guys are going to have a blast watching him play because he is unreal for sure.
Well,
But
as much of a blast as I can be stressed out, but
yeah, for sure.
I think I missed that game. It was a Friday, and
I was in Mexico.
I
missed it too.
Okay, yeah, 'cause I remember being a little disappointed I didn't get to see him play in person. But now I'm going to get all of the Gavin McKenna that I could ever possibly want.
He's a pretty special player. I mean,
Yeah.
16 years old, putting up 129 points in
Yeah.
his first full year in the league. Essentially, it's pretty mind-boggling if you look at it. But I mean, their top line with McKenna, Weisblatt, and Ryder Ritchie. I mean, that's almost 300 points on the year. So, I mean, it's going to be top line versus top line, and the thing with Medicine Hat is I'll have to do a little bit more reading up on like the rest of their team and stuff. I don't know how their depth scoring has been throughout the playoffs and all year, or if it's just been like the top line carrying the load, because I think our top line could carry the load when they need to, but our depth scoring has really shown up in the playoffs, and I think that's going to be a huge factor going into the finals.
Yeah,
and it's
especially
funny
our
that
second
was
and third line.
Yeah, that the depth scoring was like our biggest concern coming into the playoffs, and it turns out that hasn't been a problem at all. It's been the penalty kill and the defense, which were two things that during the regular season were really pretty decent.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think we had the third best PK in the league. Now our PK is, man, it's got to be like 60%.
It's like 60%.
Yeah, like
it's not good.
It feels like at this point, every time we take a penalty, you can just throw a goal up on the board for whoever we're playing, because they can't seem to get out of their own way when they're killing penalties. So I don't know I mean, they got a week to clean up special teams.
Yeah.
So hopefully before they hop on the bus for a nice little 8.5 hour cruise up to southeastern Alberta, they can work on that a little bit. So.
Yeah, it's funny. Did you read the article in the Spokesman this morning and the comments from Brad Lauer, who was a defenseman in the NHL, and how it's hard to watch this team sometimes, he said, on defense, and it's not ideally how he would want it to be done. But he says, I guess if we come out on the high end of the scoring, race each game, it's not necessarily a bad thing. But he goes, I'd like to see this team get better defensively and not have the breakdowns that they do. He pretty much called them out, but said, like you said, a win's a win too.
Yeah, and I want to give it real quick. I want to give a little shout out to Braden Crampton. We've kind of dragged him a little bit on this pod, and he's had his ups and downs, but last night I thought as far as the D-men,
he was good.
He was the best D-man on the ice, and I really appreciated the way he played last night. He played honestly about as good of a game as I've seen out of him. So, shout out Crampton. Hopefully everybody else can kind of play that way going forward. But
yeah, well, and the thing is, it's a championship series. You put it all on the line at this point. I mean, you've battled through the first 3 rounds, and you got one more hill to climb. I mean, there's the Memorial Cup, yeah, but for the WHL championship itself, I mean, it's one last hill to climb within your own league, and they're going to be putting everything they got out there, and they're going to need to be doing that every single night against a team with the high caliber scoring like Medicine Hat.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah,
but
and
yeah,
I'm not even worried about the Memorial Cup. That is so far from
yeah,
my headspace right now. I mean, and it's kind of a crapshoot too. It's like a round robin, and they do a bunch of weird stuff, and it's double elimination, whatever. I can't remember all the rules of it. So I want to focus on this
me too.
winning our league. Obviously, the Memorial Cup is huge, and it is the ultimate prize, but winning this league is, I mean, haven't done it since '08, which is
Yep.
coincidentally the last time we won the Memorial Cup. But I don't even want to talk about Memorial Cup right now. And I've kind of peeked at the other CHL leagues, and London is doing London things, and um, one of
Moncton
the yeah,
in the
Moncton
Quebec
over
League.
in the
Yeah.
queue is just yeah. I don't even want to think about them right now. So
No, I would like to take all of our focus and put it on Medicine Hat
mhm.
and try to just dissect their game a little bit and figure out ways to beat them. Because I mean, the game that they played in Spokane this year, Chiefs had a 2-0 lead from the first period through the entire game up until about 10 minutes to go in the third period where they gave up 3 goals. If the Chiefs can take an early lead on Medicine Hat and then shut them down defensively, we're fine.
Yeah.
We have the scoring ability. We know that we can score on against them. And so
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing is just keep playing the way that they've been playing offensively and just really buckle down defensively. That's the biggest thing. Cowan's got to take an extra step up too.
Yeah,
I
he's
think
had a
he's up
couple
for the
rough
challenge.
games, I've thought.
Yeah. And I'll say last night, I thought he played a great game. He had
Tell you what,
close to 40 saves.
he made some great saves in
Hmm.
the third period, especially.
Yep.
Yeah, no, he was great last night, without a doubt.
The
Yeah,
only the only guy that seemed to be able to beat him last night was Weiermeyer.
Uh-huh.
I will say on the note of Cowan, um, in any league or any level of playoff hockey, I feel like if you're going to win a championship, there has to be at least 2 games in that whole run of winning 16 where you look at your goalie and go, he's the reason we won that game. I feel like that hasn't happened yet. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we've been kind of winning not in spite of him, but with him as just a piece.
Right.
I don't think there's been a game that Cowan has stolen.
Correct.
Right.
Maybe the couple of overtime games of Victoria or against Victoria, you can make an argument that, he stopped everything that he had to stop and whatever. But I'm trying to think if there's been one game this playoff where we've looked at Cowan and been like,
Well,
can you guys think of that?
I can't, but
I can't either.
we got 7 games in the next
I was
series
just
for
saying,
him to
chances
make
are
that
it's gonna-
happen.
Chances
And
are it's going to come this series. Yeah.
That's what I was that's what I was leading to is if we're going to beat Medicine Hat, I think at least one of the 4 wins has to be a Cowan game
Yeah.
where
No doubt.
I agree with
he
that.
just stones them, and no matter what they do, they can't solve them.
Yeah.
I think we need one of those. And I mean, they could probably say the same thing about their goaltender as well. They probably look at him and go, "Hey, it's going to have to be a game where Crystal doesn't score a hat trick, or
Right.
Hatton
Yeah.
doesn't do some crazy shit that leads to Van Olm having a wide open tap in. Just
Yeah.
I don't know, but
Yeah.
And they got a good goalie on the other end too. He's drafted by the Tampa Bay Lightning in the 7th round a few years ago, Harrison Mendigan. And he's had a great run on the postseason during the postseason as well. He got traded from Lethbridge over to Medicine at the deadline this year. 20-year-old goalie, been around a long time. So he's been there before. He knows what it takes. So it's going to be a challenge to see if our guys can get the puck past him too. And he's shown streaks in the playoffs for Medicine Hat where he's given up 4 or 5 goals in a game. And I'm thinking if the Chiefs are able to kind of take advantage of those kinds of games when he's having them, then we're going to be, solid. It's going to be solid, and I think it's going to be a tighter series than most people are giving the Chiefs credit for.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
Quite
yeah.
frankly,
I'm seeing a lot of Medicine Hat in 5. Medicine Hat, like a lot
I've
of
seen
people.
a lot of cocky Medicine Hat fans.
Yeah, and man, I was trying to extend the olive branch to him yesterday. I was like, hey, Medicine Hat fans, like, we
Let's
don't
have
have
some
any.
fun.
Let's have some fun. We don't have any ill will towards you. How could we? We play you like once a year, like, And then meanwhile, they're just over there like, Tigers in 4. Like, okay,
Yeah.
just completely disrespecting what we've done over here. Like, I would at least like to think that deep down, they've looked at us dropping 10 spots on Portland and been like, ooh,
Oh yeah.
they're
Yeah,
scary.
that kind of reaction tells me that they're afraid of us.
Hopefully.
Well, and like I said, if we're gonna, I mean, the Chiefs haven't been in the Cup since 2008. 2008, the Chiefs were a hell of a team that year. We were the second best team in the entire WHL. However, we didn't have any like crazy superstars on our team that year either. A lot of people were, not giving the Chiefs the credit that they deserved that year either, and they went on to kind of defeat the naysayers and win everything. But I see a lot of that team in this team as well, just with a couple of added superstars.
Oh, me too. Remember when we went down to Tampa and you got to meet Dave Andrechuk, and there's a Brian, and I can't remember his name now too. Mm-hmm. And we're talking about having Tick and talking about having Johnson because we were from Spokane. And he said, one thing about those two guys, he goes, there's something special about players that win at every level. And at that point, Tyler had won at Memorial Cup. He'd won the Calder Cup in the AHL.
World Junior Gold.
And World Junior. And so he hadn't won a Stanley Cup yet, but he made a point of telling us that players that can do that are pretty special. And I think there's some players on our team right now that are going to have those successes down the road too. Not just in the world or in CHL.
100%. Couldn't agree more.
There's guys that are just natural born winners. And that guy like Tyler Johnson falls right into that category. It seemed like no matter where he went, besides his stint with the Hawks, but that's a special case. The Hawks were already actively pulling the rug out from under themselves.
Yes.
But I mean, everywhere he's gone, or he's not, is he still in the league? Or
he played for Boston a couple
He played for Boston,
year, but I don't think he's playing right now.
Regardless, I mean, he's won everything.
Mm-hmm.
I think, did he win World Juniors gold?
Mm-hmm.
Or
yes,
yeah, he did. He was on that
2010
team that beat Canada in overtime.
Chris Kreider.
Yep, that's right. Yeah, so he even won that. Like, so and sometimes winning just follows guys, and we potentially have a couple guys like that on this team.
I see a lot of guys like that on this team. I see Berkeley Catton being one of those guys.
Yeah, Catton, Crystal.
Mm-hmm.
I see Preston, as young as he is, potentially being that type of player in his career as well.
I see Chase Harrington also being a player like that too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's going to come down to a lot of different factors, but I think in the end, it's going to go at least 6 or 7. I mean, I really do.
It's going to be fun. It's, like TC said, it's going to be nerve-wracking and anxiety ridden, but it's going to be fun.
So one more note on that Medicine Hat series before we go back and kind of recap the last couple of Portland games. They released the schedule today, and it's interesting to say the least.
Did they release the full one yet, or is it still just the partial?
I mean, they released the schedule somewhat, but they haven't announced the dates or times of games 5, 6, and 7 yet. We know Game 5 will be in Spokane, but there's that rodeo event going on at the arena on that weekend.
Yeah.
So how it is right now set up is May 9th, Game 1 in Medicine Hat. May 11th is a Sunday, Game 2. So I guess on May 10th,
Mother's Day.
May 10th, they have a concert up at Medicine Hat's arena, so they can't play then. So they're playing the next night. Game 3 is in Spokane on Tuesday the 13th, and Game 4 is Wednesday the 14th. I guess they need a day to set up for the rodeo thing that's on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll take that Friday and take the ice or cover up the ice and, get all that stuff ready, have the rodeo event Saturday. And then game 5 is looking like the only option right now is the 18th.
That's
Is that
Sunday.
is that correct? The
Yep.
18th?
That's what it looks like. It's kind of crazy because you look at it and it's like, okay, they have really two options. It's either play 3 games in 3 nights, which would just be crazy. The Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then set up for the rodeo as the Chiefs and Tigers go back to Medicine Hat, assuming the series doesn't end in 5. Or they take 4 days off, play a Sunday night, and then travel day for game 6, and then play it's an 8.5 hour bus ride. It's not insignificant. I just really I understand they want to cut back on travel costs, and this is just like a personal gripe. I don't understand why they're not doing a 2-2-1-1-1
I agree.
purely because of the arena scheduling.
I
It just-
completely agree. It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, and like would that mean that would screw us out of a weekend game? Yeah, that would, because that would mean game 5 would be, I don't know, Saturday in Medicine Hat, and then they would come back here for like a Monday or Tuesday. That would be unfortunate, but I can't wrap my head around the waiting 4 days to play another game and then have another like 2-day break before game 6, assuming it makes it that far.
So here's the other thing that makes it even stranger on top of that. So if that were to be the case, game 5 would be on the 18th, and then they would probably have a travel day, go back to Medicine Hat. The 20th would be game 6, and then if it goes as far as 7, it would be the 21st. The Memorial Cup in Rimouski starts on May 22nd.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So that's another thing that kind of puts a little bit of a damper on all that too. I think that's why they're still trying to figure all that out. That's why
I think they don't know yet.
Be determined. They don't know.
Yeah.
Do you think there's a chance they pivot off of this 2-3-2 and do it a 2-2-1-1-1?
See, that's what I was wondering too, because I don't see how you could, if this series goes 7 games, the winner of that series has to immediately leave and go to Rimouski for the Memorial Cup,
which is far.
Yeah, it's on the far east coast of Canada.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
Let's play game 5 of the Eagles on Friday night.
Yeah,
Play out at Eastern.
And that's why. So obviously they had already decided way ahead of time for May 9th to be game 1.
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't plan on both series being a sweep. It was the first time that's ever happened. I don't understand why they couldn't move off that and just be like, okay, well, because of the Memorial Cup, because of because of the arena conflicts at both rinks. Why they couldn't just be like, okay, game 1, May 7th, and let's get it over with.
I wonder what the likelihood is of playing game 5, heaven forbid, and I don't know where it'd be, playing in a neutral rink somewhere, halfway in between. I mean, you got to wonder. There's got to be some different options that they're thinking of.
Well, and I was toying with that idea in my head today, too, when the schedule was released. It was like, what's the – because I remember a few years back, I think it was Seattle had some sort of arena conflict at ShoWare. And I think they were trying to see if they could play the game in Everett.
I remember that,
but they had already taken the ice out.
Yeah.
And I can't remember what they ended up doing, but I do remember that they had toyed with that idea. The thing is even if it's technically Spokane's game on home ice or whatever, if that were to be, where would be the closest rink that they could do this in?
Kelowna.
Yeah, but they've had the ice taken out up there forever.
Probably. That's probably true.
And that's the other thing is like all the teams have their ice taken out. And so
yeah, I don't know.
I truly don't know.
It's going to be an interesting thing to see play out for sure.
But because right now, at least with how everything's set up right now, it's looking like it's either going to be 3 games and 3 nights, which is absolutely batshit crazy for a WHL championship series, or you have 4 days in between game 4 and game 5.
Yeah.
And then, push it up right to the very end right before the Memorial Cup.
And do you get a bye on that first day of the Memorial Cup then if
I
you're
would
a
assume that
WHL team?
they would
Yeah,
have to.
they wouldn't play day
They
one.
would have
Yeah.
to. Or
Because
is it possible, and I don't know if it is or not, push the start date back for the Memorial Cup one day?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I don't think they could do that because the
Yeah.
Memorial Cup for these towns, it's a big deal. And
Right.
like a town like Rimouski, I looked up Rimouski. It's a pretty small little Quebecois coastal city or town. I don't even call it a city. This is everything for them. They've had hotel rooms booked. They've had restaurants, everything. Like I don't see them moving it back in for the Chiefs. But this can't be only an us problem, right? Like the OHL and the QMJHL, they're still playing. They're also about on the same timeline as us.
Right. See, and
So,
that's what I'm going to look up right now. I'm going to look up kind of see how they, because I did see a tweet earlier that said something about all of the CHL, OHL, Quebec League, and WHL are all having weird scheduling things going on with their final series. The OHL hasn't announced anything with their final series yet. We
okay,
know,
maybe they
no,
can move
it was the Quebec League that didn't have anything set in stone yet, even though that series has been, determined who's going to play in that final series for a couple of days now. And then the OHL, they know that London has home ice. That's the only thing that they figured out so far. So
Yeah, 'cause
all the CHL leagues are having this weird issue with scheduling this year, and I don't remember this ever being an issue before.
No,
yeah,
but we probably also
maybe
didn't follow it as close either because we didn't have a team in.
That's true.
maybe they can push the Memorial Cup back a day.
I find
because
it hard to believe that they could do that, or they would like try to do that though.
and the more I think about it though, so like if you're if you're a Chiefs fan like we are, and we win the championship in 7 games, and you impulsively say, "Fuck it, I'm going to the Memorial Cup in Rimouski. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity. Let's do it." And you impulsively buy a flight to, I don't know, Quebec City or something. I don't know where the closest airport would be, and then you have to make that decision like immediately, especially if the Memorial Cup is starting the next day or the day after.
Mhm.
So maybe they can move it because if they're thinking to themselves, okay, all these fans from Spokane, London, Medicine Hat, whoever wins, want to come here, the fans also need time to travel.
Right.
So maybe they can push it back a day or two.
And then maybe double up one of those days, play a doubleheader one day.
Yeah.
Because they typically don't do that either. So
Doesn't it usually, correct me if I'm wrong here, isn't there usually like a 2 week layoff before the Memorial Cup?
I thought there was too. I thought there was a little bit of a
Yeah,
layoff.
it's like there's always this long gap.
Mhm.
Again, like we haven't had a team in the conversation in many years, so we haven't really needed to pay that close of attention. But I swear it's been like at least a week or two between
Yeah.
winning your league and then going to wherever it happens
Well,
to be.
and the thing with I think so. I'm looking at the playoff tree for the OHL. Um, the both of those conference championships were sweeps as well. So they haven't
Yeah.
figured that out yet. They know who's going to be. It's going to be Oshawa and London, but
Yeah.
they those series just wrapped up yesterday as well. With the sweeps and everything. So the Quebec League, Moncton's and Rimouski and Shawinigan are still
They're going to game
good. They're
6,
going to
right?
game 6. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that.
Rimouski's up 3-2 in that series, but so that's not done yet. So I'm assuming that we'll find out. Well, we'll have to find out in the next couple of days what it's all going to be.
Yeah, I mean, the more we talk about this, the more 3 games and 3 nights sounds a little bit kind of plausible.
I mean, it does, but it's I don't know, man. I don't know. I really don't know. I have no idea what they're going to end up doing. It's going to be interesting to see.
For me, that would suck because I'm going to miss game 4 already, which because I'll be in Seattle and we'll be driving back on that Thursday. So we would be having to bust our ass to get home to make sure we can make it for game 5 if they're going to do 3 and 3 nights. But
Well, hold on a second here.
yeah, I don't know. That's crazy. I didn't know that the scheduling got this deep. I was just kind of frustrated by it in general when it came out. I didn't know that the Memorial Cup was going to start like a day after Game 7 would happen.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Memorial Cup event details page right now, and it looks like I haven't seen anything if they haven't like posted like a schedule of like when the games will be. Normally they put out a thing that says like WHL champion versus host city this day, OHL versus Q this day, blah blah blah, so on and so forth. I haven't seen that yet, but I am seeing a lot of different things like they're saying the arrival of the cup at 5 p.m. May 22nd, shootout tournament May 24th and 25th. So I almost now looking at this, I'm almost wondering if they're going to have a bunch of little events like throughout the week with everything in Rimouski, and then the games start maybe a week later.
Okay, that makes more
maybe
sense.
I don't know for sure, but
that makes because this like it's an event. It's a big. I mean, the arena or Spokane just tried to get it. We lost out to Kelowna because they got a pity bid. Not that I'm mad.
No,
about that,
they definitely did get a pity bid.
It was a pity bid, but like it's a big deal for that local economy, especially in these little Canadian towns where their junior hockey team's all they got, and I feel like Rimouski probably falls into that category.
Okay. So looking at this now, I found the thing. So the host team plays the first game of the Memorial Cup at 4 p.m. Pacific time on May 23rd against the WHL champion.
Man, that's still a really quick turnaround.
So
that's 2 days.
They have a travel day, and then they play 4 p.m. against the host team, Rimouski.
Man.
But then they don't play again until the 26th, the WHL, that is.
That's a tough draw. That's a tough draw for either the Chiefs or Medicine Hat, because I think Rimouski is in that weird coastal Canadian time zone that's actually 4 hours ahead.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So that's a huge time jump going forward, jet lag and all that, and then you're riding high on the emotions of just winning your league. Oh, by the way, now we got to strap up and play the host city.
Right.
That's a tough draw. And I mean, Rimouski's not a pushover. They're actively trying to win the Q. So it's not like they're one of those weird host teams that is bad.
Right. Kelowna next year. But I don't know. Interesting stuff. And
well, we got to the bottom of it. Sorry to the listeners.
No, I was going to say, we just kind of went off there.
That wasn't great podcasting. Sorry.
No, we were trying to figure all that out ourselves too. And I mean, it's good that we finally got all that figured out. I don't know why I didn't look into that sooner. But anyways, boys, we'll do a quick little recap of the last 2 games against the Winterhawks. I have to work at 6 a.m. Cappy's got to work around the same time. So we'll do it quick.
Yes, I do.
And go the fuck to bed. So Game 3, boys, on the 30th of April down in Portland. Chiefs got a 2-0 lead going into Game 3. I felt like we were gonna win Game 3 before puck drop even started. I just had that feeling
you
that
did
we were
tell
gonna
me that.
go in and we were gonna win Game 3. I fully expected Portland to come out in Game 4 and win and force 5 on Saturday. But but anyway, back to Game 3. The Chiefs came out and kind of let Portland slap them around most of the first period. I mean, for the Chiefs got a couple of bounces here and there, and Chase Harrington got the first goal of the game. Portland answered back pretty quickly within a couple of minutes on the power play. Once again, our penalty kill is just atrocious right now, and
it's not good.
I don't understand. I just looked it up. We're worst power play in the entire WHL playoffs. We're 16th right now, or penalty kill rather. Sorry, but but the Chiefs get one back late in the first period. Nathan Mays on a one-timer at the point. So the Chiefs take a 2-1 lead going into the first intermission. Getting outshot 15-9 in that first period, though. When that seems to happen, the Chiefs usually come out in the next period and kind of, take control back of the game. I feel like, especially in the playoffs, that's been a little bit of a trend where, the team will outplay us in the first period, and then we kind of, whatever it is that's said in the locker room at intermission, they just come out and just take it to them. And that happened in the second period in this
I
game
bet
as
if
well.
you were to look at the second period scoring for every team that was in the playoffs, I bet you were the best second period team.
Yeah,
in the
absolutely.
league.
Yeah, no doubt.
And it's been that way since game 1 of the Vancouver series.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
But the Chiefs would take another penalty a couple minutes into the second period, and Diego Pizza Pocket, whatever his name is, gets another power play goal. So Chiefs 0 for 2 on the penalty kill at that point. Not really a good start to the special teams. Special teams would get one back halfway through the second period. Owen Martin get his 4th of the playoffs to give the Chiefs a 3-2 lead. And then Will McIsaac down the left side with a snipe a couple minutes later to put the Chiefs up by 2. But Azzoni would get another goal within the next minute to get Portland back within 1. Lots of scoring in the period. The Chiefs only gave up eight shots against, but 3 goals in that second period. Outshot Portland 21-8 in the second, but Portland wasn't going to go away quietly, and I think that all us Chiefs fans kind of expected that. But so it's 4-3, and then Andrew Crystal gets his 18th goal of the playoffs with a minute and a half to go in the second period to give the Chiefs back the 2-goal lead. But guess what? We gave it up again about 20 seconds later. And Joel Plant gets his second goal of the playoffs to get it back to a 1-goal game going into the second intermission. All series, it's been optional defense. It's been just go offense all series long.
How many goals did we score in those 4 games?
Oh God, let me do the math. So 10. What was the final in game 2?
Did we score
6-5? 6-5. 6.
Where did I get 8?
6.
I don't know where I got that.
8 was game 3.
Oh, okay.
So 24. And then how many did we score last night? 6?
6.
So 30.
30.
30 goals in those 4 games.
That's crazy.
Averages 7.5 game. That's pretty good.
God, that's crazy. So Portland gets the jump early on in the third period. Josh Zakreski gets his 10th goal of the playoffs, 2.5 in. Tied the game back up at 5, but then the Chiefs took over from there. Coco Armstrong with his first career WHL playoff goal. Nice little net front scramble. The fourth line getting it done. The fourth line I thought was really good in these last 2 games
they were.
down there.
They were, yeah.
Owen Shetler and Cam Parr, the assist that ends up being the game-winning goal. A similar play about 2 minutes later, Mathis Preston, right in about the same spot that Armstrong got his goal for his 8th of the playoffs, assisted by Owen Martin and Will McIsaac. And then Sonali Sarkinov gets his 7th goal of the playoffs and his 5th goal in the series against the Winterhawks.
My boy.
With a snipe. And
Winterhawk killer.
That's right. That would cap the scoring as the Chiefs pick up a huge game 3 win to force Portland on the brink of elimination, 8-5. What were your guys' kind of overall thoughts on how everything played out in that game? Dad, you and I watched the first period together down there at the golf course.
They just outscored them. It's that same thing. Defense optional. It's just the way the whole series was for us. We just outscored them. 2-goal lead, you just felt like it was going to evaporate every time we had one.
Yeah.
Luckily, we came out on the high end of that.
And it goes back to something we talked about previously. It is a very disturbing theme.
Mm-hmm.
Because it doesn't matter when we get these multi-goal leads in the third period. If there's more than 10 minutes left, I already basically feel like it's going to get tied.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Same thing whenever we take a penalty, I just shrug my shoulders and go, okay, well, how long will it be before they score?
Yeah, exactly. Me too.
So
And that's one thing that I'm really scared of with Medicine Hat in the next round.
It's a very hard thing to watch, and that is those two things, especially the PK and our inability to stay out of the box at times. We take some pretty stupid penalties, frankly.
Yeah.
Pretty frequently. And also the refs are definitely targeting a couple of guys, Vanel, Weinstein, just waiting for them to do anything.
Yeah, absolutely.
That it's making me hard or making me hard. Freudian slip. It's making it hard. It's making it hard to imagine that I don't want to say that we're gonna lose the Medicine Hat, but I'm having a hard time picturing us winning because of those issues.
Yeah.
So.
The one positive I can take out of that, at least again for the second time in this series, we started out with a lead. We didn't let them have the lead to start a game.
Yeah, that was a big key too. And I think the Chiefs were good with that for the most part in this series against Portland. They, 3 of the 4 games, they scored the first goal of the game, and it seemed to really kind of dictate the pace of the first period for us too.
It did in
those games for the most part.
Yeah.
But yeah, so no, I said the same thing. I was down at Lord Stanley's watching that game with my buddy Corey, and I was saying, like, we had a 3-goal lead in the second period, and I just said I'm not comfortable, and I said give me another beer because I'm not comfortable. Like I won't be comfortable, and even we had the 3-goal lead with about 5 minutes to go, and I'm still like kind of on the edge of my seat. Like with this team, I don't know. Just don't know. But fortunately, we pulled it out. Kind of buckled down defensively. Our don't give me that smirk, you son of a bitch. I know why you said that. I know why you're doing that. I can't get over your comment though. Anyway, next night, game 4 down to Portland. Chance to eliminate the Winterhawks and clinch the Western Conference Championship. Chiefs get out to a great start the first period. Just a back and forth game yesterday. I mean, that was probably competitive game of the series for sure.
Yeah,
it really was back and forth. A lot of shots, 18-17 in favor of Portland after the first period.
I didn't realize that. Wow.
Yeah, so a lot of shots both ways. Both goalies were pretty dialed in last night.
Mm-hmm.
Andrew Crystal hit the first goal of the game for the Chiefs was Crystal's breakaway goal 7 minutes into the first period. So right before that Portland had a kind of they were moving the puck around in their zone, and Jugmouth had a wide open shot at the net. Cowan made the save, and it bounced over his shoulder and was in the crease behind him, was starting to roll toward the net. Crystal came out and batted it away, through the defender and batted the puck out and saved the goal. And then skated up the boards and then cut to the middle, and he got hit. I don't remember who made the pass. Actually, I don't even think he made a pass. I think he just picked the puck off at the blue line.
It just found it.
And he walked in on a breakaway. He had all the time in the world and made a nice move to the backhand and shelved it to give the Chiefs a 1-0 lead. So just a great all-around play from Crystal there. That's a 200-foot play right there.
That's a play you would expect out of somebody on Team Canada, right?
Yeah, you would think. You would think. You would think. I can't believe the number of breakaways that we had in last night's game. There was like a half dozen breakaways we had.
Yeah, we had quite a bit. And Stebatak for Portland played great. He came ready to play in that elimination game for them.
He did, and then I watched the highlight video again today. Victory Plus. We've commented on this all series long. Every goal that went in, you watch, he goes down early on his face. And it made me think, who was our goalie we had about 10, 12 years ago that did that too? We had we could read him like a book. He reminds me of that. He goes down forward on his face every time.
Mm-hmm.
That's a throwback name. I haven't thought about Sittler in
I hadn't either until Elliot just said it. I couldn't remember his name.
Corey, and the only reason I knew it is because Corey was talking about him the other night when we were down at Lawrence.
Oh, really?
He started comparing. He called him Shitler.
Yes.
But
I think we did at the time too.
Yeah. Anyway, a good start to the game for the Chiefs, picking up that early lead. Obviously, we expect Portland to battle back with their backs against the wall. Weiermeyer would get his first goal of the night, 3.5 after Crystal's goal to tie the game up at 1. The Chiefs would go on a power play. We touched on it a little bit earlier, that Buttazzoni penalty. I didn't really see the penalty as it happened. The camera was on it, and I
The
went back
camera.
and watched the replay,
Hmm.
but I didn't see it at the time, so I didn't know. Boilers seemed pretty surprised too when they put up the 5-minute major
I
up
think
there on the
everyone
board.
was.
And so, I asked around on Facebook, and I said, like, biased people aside, was that a good call? Because I genuinely didn't see it. And even, I had a lot of Portland fans even kind of chiming in, like, yeah, that was the right call. That was a really stupid play and everything too. And going back in the replay, he, for whatever, like, Portland went off sides and way away from all the play, but Azoni just skated over to Van Olm and just gave him a cross check right in the side of the neck right here. And that's just a bonehead play that you can't be doing, no matter, I mean, in general, but especially when your team's got their backs against the wall and you're the
Yeah,
team's leading scorer. That's just a
make,
stupid play.
makes you think he had a tea time this morning.
Yeah, for real. That's just not a play that you should be making in the Western Hockey League or in any level of hockey,
Just
quite frankly.
chances are with that, if they would have been a game 5, he was not playing in it anyway.
Exactly. And I heard, I was obviously listening to Boiler, but I heard that the Portland announcers even made that comment too. They said, if Portland's able to force a game 5, they're going to have to play without Buttazzoni for that game too.
Yeah.
I don't know if suspensions from the playoffs get carry over to next season. Do they?
I don't know. I don't know either.
But nonetheless, he's done for the game. The Chiefs get a 3-minute power play there because Van Olm got a penalty for a slash, I think, on that play too. So it was matching minors or matching penalties at first for the first 3 minutes, and then Van Olm comes out. The Chiefs get the 3-minute power play. Andrew Crystal would convert his second of the night, 20th of the playoffs
Crazy
on that power play. Just an unreal season and postseason for him so far. 20 goals. Chiefs get that. That was their only power play of the game, actually. Was that 5-minute power play. And they were 1-for-1 the power play.
And that being said, I felt like this game was the best officiated game we've had.
You know why? We had the WHL official of the year officiating the game.
Yeah.
Mike Langen.
Yeah, when Boiler said that before the game started, I was like, "Oh, thank Jesus!" Like,
and you know what? I hope he does every single championship game too.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Crystal gets his second of the night. The Chiefs get a 2-1 lead going into the first intermission. Portland comes out on the power play in the second period. The Chiefs kind of taking another penalty that was pretty unnecessary. I mean, it's just the stick infractions that you can't be making, and they made us pay there. Ryan Miller, fourth goal of the playoffs on the power play, 5 minutes into the second period to tie the game back up at 2. And then let's talk about the fourth line again a little bit here. They're getting some serious minutes there in the second and third periods last night too. Brody Gillespie playing in front of his hometown crowd. His family from the Vancouver, Washington area. So it's just right across the bridge from the Memorial Coliseum in Portland. Gets the puck coming up the ice, and Coco's right behind him there. He just makes a perfect drop pass right in the tape and took the defender with him. And Armstrong ripped home his second straight game with a goal, and gives the Chiefs back on top 3-2 at that point. The fourth line has just been so good in this series too. And they're going to need to stay consistent going into the next series against Medicine Hat too. So it was good to see that they're contributing offensively too. And it just goes to show that we're not just a one-line team. I think that's the biggest takeaway from a lot of Medicine Hat fans that I've been seeing are just saying, like, we just got to stop Cat and Crystal and Van Olm and we're fine. But I don't know, dude. I wouldn't be so sure.
No.
But the lead wouldn't last long, though. It's 5 minutes later, Weiermeyer would get his second goal of the night, and Portland would tie the game up at 3 apiece going into the third period. So 20 minutes, tied game. Portland needs to win to force game 5. If the Spokane wins, they clinch the Western Conference Championship. Portland had a power play carried over from the last couple of seconds of the second period, pretty much an entire minute and 50 some seconds going into the third period. Didn't take them long to score on it, as 24 seconds in, Josh Sekreski would score his 11th of the playoffs to put Portland ahead 4-3. And it'd stay that way for,
Most,
majority of the third
yeah.
period until about 5 or 6 minutes to go. Rasmus Ekstrom just a little net front scramble and bats the puck out of midair and ties the game back up at 4 apiece. And then from there, it was all Chiefs.
Yeah.
The Chiefs really buckled down, not only defensively, but they just
They
kept
smelled
attacking.
blood.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. They kept attacking and they looked great.
When Ekstrom scored, the bubble just completely popped
Absolutely.
It did.
in the arena for the Portland fans and the
Yeah.
players. You could see it in their body language. They
Yeah.
were so defeated, even after we tied it.
I'm
they
sitting on my
just
couch and you could feel the energy being sucked out of that building
yeah.
completely.
Yeah.
And the Chiefs, like you said, they smelled blood. 2.5 minutes later, what a freaking play by Owen Martin! Just
Bengals.
a beautiful
Insane.
goal.
Insane, all by himself.
Yeah, all by himself, cutting in from the blue line, going forehand to backhand through the defender's stick.
Yeah.
And just found that perfect spot. Ends up being the game-winning goal. The Chiefs go up 5-4 with just over 3 minutes to go, and then Shea Van Olm would cap things off with an empty netter with a minute and a half left, and the Chiefs clinched their first Western Conference championship since 2008 with a 6-4 win in Portland.
Beautiful.
Get your brooms out, baby.
Sweep them. And at this point, it's not just TC, but we were all hard.
Yeah. Goddamn right.
Stay hard, baby. No, yeah, no, you know what? I thought this series was gonna go 7. I thought Portland was gonna give us the usual troubles that they give us.
I did as well.
And I guess I didn't factor that they had already played 14 games coming into this, and they had a lot of mileage on their legs. And I mean, they didn't have issue scoring, but they couldn't stop us.
Yeah.
So pretty ho-hum 4-0 sweep. And I'm glad we did it because I watching Medicine Hat take care of Lethbridge, I was like, damn, we got to match their sweep or at least get this done in 5 because we got to get as much rest as we can.
No doubt. Got to get lots of practice in. They have plenty of time to watch over the tape. I mean, we got a whole 7 days for game 1. I mean, they got plenty of time to watch some film on Medicine Hat and kind of figure their style out a little bit more too. And
same for Medicine Hat. They have the same time we have to do the same thing, and they don't have to travel. So
yeah,
true.
That is true. I think that I think it's going to be a fun series. I think this is the series that could go 7 for the Chiefs. Yeah. I think this is going to be back and forth, high octane offense. I don't think you're going to see a lot of 2-1 games.
No.
Which is what you would expect in a championship series. With these two teams and just the high octane offense that they have, this could be if you're a betting person on Bovada, you could bet on WHL games. Bet the over because I'll say this right now. I think every single game in this series is going to end with a team having at least 4 goals.
I feel like every series that happened in the WHL playoffs this year, no matter which teams were playing, I feel like scoring was high. It was not playoff scoring in any of the series.
It's very true. And that could be, part of what helped the Chiefs kind of excel is their scoring ability that they had, especially in the second half after the Crystal trade.
Yeah.
For sure. And saying that, I just pulled up a tweet. The WHL finals will feature 4 guys having insane seasons. Andrew Crystal, 169 points in 71 games.
Jesus.
God damn.
Berkeley Catton, 144 points in 72 games. Gavin McKenna, 164 points in 69 games. Nice. Oasis Weisblatt, 129 points in 79 games.
Wow.
So that I like I said, I'm going to say somebody is going to score at least 4 goals every single game.
Yeah.
In this postseason. So
I almost feel like it could be more than that. I almost feel like combined goals for each game is going to be approaching 10.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying bet the over because it's 100% it's going to be a lot of scoring. It's going to be the Portland Chiefs series on crack.
Yeah, exactly. I wonder if they have a gong too. That thing's going to be dented to hell
No kidding.
in both arenas.
One more final stat here that I pulled up. The Chiefs so far in 15 playoff games have scored 85 fucking goals.
Wow.
believe it.
85
Yeah.
in 15 playoff games.
I feel like we had a team a couple years ago that went halfway through the season before they could score 85.
Yeah, ain't that the truth?
Those were some lean years.
Yes, they were
Yeah, it was
offensively for
man.
sure.
Who would have thought that just a couple years later we'd be sitting here having this conversation?
Exactly.
Just a little bit of perspective going into what we're about to do. That it like win or lose here, what an impressive turnaround for this
Exactly.
organization
Exactly.
to even get to this point. Granted, now that we're here, let's do the fucking thing. Let's win it all.
exactly.
But that being said, my main thing is the only way we win this series is if we clean this PK up.
Yep.
It cannot be operating at the clip it's operating at. They got to find a way to kill 3 out of 4. They got to find a way.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's got to be better. Something's got to improve there. And I did see yesterday that, one of our top penalty killers during the regular season is done for the year, Smith Redmond. He had surgery. He had surgery on his shoulder. So that's a guy that, you're not going to have going forward in the playoffs and in this series. So that's a huge bummer. So you got to look for some other younger guys to step up and kind of fill that role. Owen Martin, Coco Armstrong, Sarkey, Harrington, those guys are great on the penalty kill. They just got to stay in the lanes, got to block the shots. And like I said earlier, at this point, this is the last series you're going to play this year. So win or lose. So put everything you got out there and give it your all. And I mean, realistically, I think it's possible. I think it's possible to do.
I think this series is 50-50. It's a toss up.
100%.
Yeah.
No, I have a hard time visualizing us winning it, but at the same time, I feel like we're the only team out of the field that could potentially take these guys down.
Absolutely.
And if we do win it, so I'm kind of in a weird headspace because I feel like the only way we win is in 6 or 7. But I look at Medicine Hat and I don't really want to say this out loud, but since I'm on the topic, I'm going to do it. I could see them beating us in 5. I don't think I could see it going the other way around. I don't know why. I don't know where that comes from. But I want to be wrong. I really do. And granted, I don't want to watch them celebrate on our ice. Do not want to see that.
Yeah.
Actually, selfishly, that's another reason why I'm kind of butthurt about the 2-3-2 because it feels like the only way we win is on the road.
Yeah.
And it would be kind of cool to win one in front of the home crowd, but
yeah, that's the
whatever.
Chiefs have never had a championship ceremony of any sort on home ice, which is just crazy.
Yeah.
1991 never did. 2008 never did. You know what? I'm gonna say it. Chiefs in 4.
I'm gonna say Chiefs in 5.
That would be incredible. And yeah. I'll eat my words. I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and say some ridiculous shit like I'll eat a hat if the Chiefs do that. I'm not going to make one of those bets, but do a shoey,
There you go.
I'll do one with you at the game. Game 5.
Oh no.
Game 5. I'll do it with you. If it happens, I'll do it with you.
All right, we're gonna have to smuggle some booze in or something.
You heard it here first,
or
folks.
hit up the little the bar down in the corner.
Yep. You heard it here first.
Maybe sneak some Pete Whitney nips in or something. Shout out Ryan Whitney.
I got about 10 left in my drawer over here. I took one last night after we clinched the Western Conference. So
those fancy metal detectors they installed this year. How do you think they can pick up booze?
Well, I've seen people sneak. I've still seen people sneak food in. I saw game 2 of the Victoria series. I saw somebody in front of me eating Taco Bell in the first period. So
Yeah.
I mean, you could make it happen, I'm sure. And you know what? I'm gonna say one last thing before we wrap this up. Spokane Arena, Spokane Chiefs. We're in the fucking championship. Take the curtain down.
Let's fill this. Let's fill the barn. Let's
Fill
sell
the
this
whole
out
damn thing. The news stations have been really getting behind the Chiefs, the local news stations.
big time.
Get the fucking curtain down. I've said that word so much more this podcast than I have ever in an episode. But I this needs to happen. They need to take it down completely.
I'm taking a look at this at the Indians schedule real quick. I want to see because if their reasoning is because they split staff between the ballpark and the arena, let's see how if the Indians are home or on the road. Give me a second.
Please be on the road. Please be on the road.
Okay, so what dates are our games?
13th and 14th.
Indians are on the road at Eugene.
There you
So-
go.
Okay.
There is no excuse to not have the staff.
Curtains down.
Take
In
it
fact-
down.
In fact, they're on the road all the way through that Sunday.
Perfect.
Perfect.
So
Close or take the freaking curtain down.
if the primary reasoning is because they split staff between the Indians and the Chiefs, ask those employees if they want to pick up an extra shift because there's no excuse in the championship series to have 40% of the seats roped off.
Exactly. This only
It's-
happens every 17 years. God damn it.
And on that note, 17 years, the Chiefs win a championship every 17 years. In their
Yes, they do.
existence. So there you go.
History is on our side, boys.
Yep.
Boys, we clinched the Western Conference. Let's clinch the whole goddamn Western Hockey League.
There you go.
And then we can start talking about playing tickets to
Rimouski.
Rimouski, Quebec.
I will take that
With
whole
2 days'
weeks
notice.
off. I will take that. I will take those 2 weeks off. But let's get it done, boys. I mean, what a year it's been. I think we can do it.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
I was thinking this weekend I'll do a little deep diving on Medicine Hat. We can kind of go in depth on like their game a little bit and stuff too, and maybe do like a little bit of a series preview on Monday or something.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask you if you wanted to do another episode because that's a
Yeah.
long break. I mean,
Yeah.
a week from today.
Right.
Yeah. People might miss
before
us.
game one.
Oh, for sure. But yeah, we'll figure something out this weekend and get that put up. But what I'm probably gonna do with this is I'm probably just gonna edit it and start rendering it and then go to bed and upload it in the morning when I wake up. So
All right. I look forward to your 6 a.m. text when we're both getting to work.
too early for this shit.
Yes, it is. That's the text you usually send me.
All right, boys. Go Chiefs, go.
Go Chiefs, go.
Go Chiefs, go.